Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Bolt City Podcast, joining you on a Sunday night, right after the Chargers' disappointing 30-27 loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. And as all of us are seeing right now a little bit disgusted, I almost think we jump on a little bit too soon. Like it's still too raw right now as far as what just happened. As the game just ended 2 minutes ago. And guys, usually right before we sign on, we talk a little bit. It was like, all right, you guys just want to start. just go through it as fast as we can, because everybody has an excuse or a reason why the Chargers fall short again to the Chiefs, 30-27. Mario, I'll start with you right now. Let's just focus on the end of the game. What was your feeling at the end of the game when the Chargers had that lead, 27-23, and going, "Hey, we're going to pull this thing out"?
I just thought it's too much time for Mahomes. He's got 3 timeouts, 1:40 left. I wouldn't feel comfortable unless it was literally 1 second left for Mahomes. Like any type of time on the clock is too much time for Mahomes. It just hurt so bad because you knew it was coming, and then it was Kelsey, and Kelsey's just so annoying, and then it's just so stupid. He's gonna go on his podcast and like try to brag about it, like, sick, dude. You're still ugly as hell. Like, get out of here, like, bum. But dude, it's just frustrating loss. And the number one thing I thought about at the end of that game, and I wanted to know if you thought the same thing, Josh, but that is just the difference between Mahomes and any other quarterback. Is no matter what time is left on the clock, he figures it out and he will win you a game. And that's the next step for Herbert. Is no matter what's left on the clock, as long as you have a little bit of timeouts and a little bit of hope, it's game.
Yeah, I think everybody watching the game felt the same way. At 1:46 left on the clock at the end, which could have been a lifetime. And you know he's going to score a touchdown. He always does. He's the most clutch player in the NFL besides Tom Brady, I'd say. He's also the best player in the league. I think Patrick Mahomes showed again once again today that if he's quarterback on the Chiefs, they're always going to be the best team on the field because he's the most clutch player in the league. The thing about the game that bothered me the most, though, was I know Derwin James, he's your best defensive player. He's on Travis Kelce, but how's there not like anybody else kind of like shadowing him? Like, he's going to get the ball in this situation. I feel like one person on him, even though it's Derwin James, we should have more people on top of Travis Kelce. Pause.
Yeah. So looking at this right now where the Chargers lose, obviously, it's the same exact thing happened a year ago, right? I mean, Josh, you and I were at the game in person. It was the same thing. It was a primetime game. And Travis Kelce gets the ball and he goes 35 yards, basically untouched. Look, he's that good. I mean, as much as you might dislike him because he plays for KC, he's outstanding. Josh asked me during the game, he goes, "Where do you rank him as far as the best tight ends of all time?" And to be honest with you, I have him as number 2. I have him right behind Gronkowski, and maybe by the time it's over, he's number 1. He's just unbelievable. Not only is he smart, but he is always able to get open. He has great hands. I mean, when's the last time you could think of Travis Kelce dropping a ball? I mean, he just doesn't. And he's fast. He's an exceptional athlete. He's as good as, we make him out to be, because he's just that guy that you can rely on every single week. Everybody knows he's dangerous. But I'm with you, Josh, as far as good as Derwin James is, and we always call him the tight end stopper, you can't do it one-on-one. You're a fool to think that Mahomes isn't looking for him first. I mean, in the past years, you would say Tyreek and Kelce were both extremely dangerous. I think Mahomes has become a better quarterback because he doesn't have Tyreek, and he's able to use guys, kind of like what we saw from Herbert. We'll get into it more during the game today, but I believe with all the injuries they've had to the wide receivers, in the long run, it's going to make Herbert a better quarterback. Kelce is outstanding, and I think before anyone writes us and says you guys missed a timeout, I think that the Chiefs that got the ball with 1:46 with 2 timeouts, but it didn't matter. Mario, you're absolutely right. Unless there's 1 second left on the clock. I mean, there's so much time. I mean, we're all looking at the clock thinking the same exact thing, but the Chargers aren't in a situation where they can say, "Hey, let's just score at the end." They have to score right now. There's no guarantee you're going to get that touchdown. Extremely frustrating. And you look at it because the Chiefs basically on November 20th have wrapped up the AFC West. Chargers fall to 5-5. I mean, they're a 500 team. It's hard to believe, but the Chargers are a 500 team right now, and the schedule gets tougher. Now you're fighting for your playoff lives, and you're trying to think, well, you aren't going to win the division, so where's this team going? Who do they have to watch as far as getting wins and not in control of your own destiny? That's what, to me, is the most frustrating part, is the Chargers don't control their own destiny right now.
Chargers don't control their own destiny, but they are the best team that's not in the playoffs in the NFL. You got a glimpse of it today with Mike Williams out there for the 11 minutes we got, and Keenan Allen. And That's so sad. But the little bit that we got of Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, you're like, whoa, this offense is explosive. Josh Palmer right off the bat, 50-yard touchdown. Josh Palmer had 2 touchdowns. And I agree with what you said. He's a different quarterback, Herbert, because he can rely on Josh Palmer because he knows he can step up as a number 3, probably one of the better number 3 receivers in the league at this point. But we don't control our destiny, but we do have the most talented offense. One of the top 5 most talented offenses in the NFL. If we can get Mike Williams back next week, I really like our chances of actually making the playoffs.
Yeah, that little glimpse of hope that we had at the beginning of the game where I'm like, wow, this offense is so fun. Like, I was like, this is so fun. Mike Williams makes that catch, tiptoes on the sideline. I'm like, we're going to be able to get anything we want. It's going to be anything we want, whenever we want. And then, of course, he starts limping. I go, yeah, this is the same tune we hear every single time. It's the same song being played for the Chargers. It's the same tough spot. It is a little worrisome right now because the division's shot. There's no way. There's just absolutely no way. The Chiefs aren't going to lose to the Broncos. They're not going to lose to the Raiders. There's just no shot. What we have to do now is pay attention to the other teams that have no shot winning the division. We have to pay attention to the Bengals, Bengals or Ravens. We got to pay attention to Pats or the Jets. We got to do that. And I think right now, if you're the Chargers, your message, Brandon Staley, your message to the team is we just have to focus on us and win out because that's our only option now. Like, the division's gone, but what we can do right now is just win every single game and keep going. And I do think this was a big light on Joshua Palmer of everything we said in the offseason. God, that kid could be really, really special.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's funny. We talked this kid up like crazy all the way back in September, and he's starting to play like we thought he was going to play. I mean, the opportunity was there, right? All you can ask for is opportunity, and he's now taking advantage of it. I'll tell you what, for me, it's extremely frustrating. I know we had higher hopes than what we thought the team would be 10 games into the season, but in the long run, you have to beat Kansas City. I mean, you could sit there and run all you want and talk about, hey, you know what, this is a good team and we're going in the right direction and the defense this and the offense that and everything that you want to point fingers at on why we think they're a good team. Eventually, you have to beat the guy at the top of the mountain. And right now, the top of the mountain has been Kansas City for the longest time in the AFC. And so next time you face the Chiefs, if you face them again, guess what? It's going to be in Kansas City. You got to go on the road and get that win, which is going to be even a little bit tougher. Today, there were opportunities. I mean, in every single game, there are opportunities. But for me, guys, I honestly thought watching that game, I was enjoying the game tonight more than I enjoyed any other game throughout the year because of all the weapons they had until Mike Williams got hurt. Josh, made the joke 11 minutes in. And I'm going, man, they can attack you so many different ways. A couple things were interesting was, and Josh and I watched it together, was Austin Eckler, how many times he wasn't on the field, to wondering, how healthy is Austin Eckler and what's going on and how come the announcers aren't talking about it throughout the game. If Austin Eckler's been such a key point of this offense, why isn't he on the field more? We're seeing running backs that we haven't seen get plays, and all of a sudden it seemed like they were saving him for when they had to have him on the field. But when he was on the field, it didn't look like he was injured. And the Mike Williams injury, which I don't know what trainers and doctors go through to see if a guy's ready to go for a high ankle sprain. I imagine you go through running drills and can he cut and everything else. But then the play that he re-injured it on was one that I wonder if they go over. Like, Josh, you played major college football. And when a guy's coming back from that injury, which we always hear is a 6 to 8 week injury, the high ankle sprain, I wonder do they have the guys jump up in the air and then land to see how they feel on that? Because that's exactly the play he got hurt on, something that I would have never thought of, something you'd have to be worried about, jumping up in the air, coming down, and then saying, all right, can your body sustain the pressure of your own body weight without re-injuring yourself?
I'd have to imagine they had to go through those types of things before the game to make sure he's good to go. They said he was working out before the game last week against the 49ers. Obviously, he was good enough to play today. He looked great on that catch. It looked like Mike Williams. And then when he gets hurt, it's like a balloon. Like all the air just gets let out. And you're like, damn, we're back to where we were. I want to talk about some positives, though, because there was some positives from this game. Keenan Allen being on the field is such a night and day difference with this offense. It's not even funny. The catch that he makes at the end of the game is only a catch Keenan Allen can make. I wouldn't have trusted Josh Palmer, even Mike Williams on something like that. Keenan Allen's going to come through in the clutch, even though he had that huge fumble. I enjoyed watching Keenan out there today, and I think Justin Herbert really benefited from having him out there as well because he knows he can trust him.
Yeah, it makes sense now why we didn't throw the ball downfield. It makes sense. Lombardi didn't feel comfortable unless Allen was out there, unless he was part of the mix. That's the solely reason why. As soon as he was out there, Herbert's chucking it down there, and we realized, yeah, his rib cage is okay. I agree with you. I want to stay on the positives because there was a lot of positives in this game. The pass rush. Our D line has a lot of injuries. Van Noy played great. Joseph Day played great. A lot of guys stepped up and put a lot of pressure on Mahomes. Mahomes, wasn't just sitting back in the pocket, having himself an iced coffee, like surveying the field. No, like there's guys in his face. He got some hits. He was forced out of the pocket. He put some pressure on him. I was really impressed by that. That was a constant theme throughout the game with how injured our D-line has been. That by far impressed me. And you guys mentioned the Eckler thing was weird to me. I didn't really get why he was taken out, but we established a run game today, which I also think was really huge for the Chargers. And that's something that we've been missing for a very, very long time. What else did you see here, Dave, just on the positive sides of this loss to a rival that still makes me want to punch myself?
You guys try to ask me to talk on the positive side because I'm too negative.
No.
Having Keenan on the field was outstanding. The fumble part was obviously disappointing because you're going, oh man, he's played so well, and he came through and he made a fantastic catch later on in a key drive where obviously they scored a touchdown. But for me, the bright spot is bringing Keenan Allen back, and the consistency of having him back on the field for the remainder of the season is what we all hope makes all the difference in the world. Joshua Palmer, man, we pointed this out that Joshua Palmer has become a fantastic number 3. Well, I'm telling you, for a number 3 receiver that quickly turned into the number 2 receiver in this game, 11 minutes in, as you said, Josh, 8 receptions, 106 yards, 2 touchdowns, caught one for a total of 50 yards. He was targeted 10 times. I mean, he played extremely well, and going forward, it's fantastic. And one of Mario, your favorite guys, DeAndre Carter, man, he was open more than he even got a chance to catch the ball. They just chose to go in another direction. But if you paid attention to DeAndre Carter, how many times, if they decided to go his way, was he open? And I imagine when they go back and they look at game film, they're going to point that out and say, hey, guess what? With all the focus being on Palmer and Allen and Mike Williams down the line, there's a way to sneak this guy in who might be the fastest guy on the team and get him some receptions down the line where you can use him to become extremely dangerous against other defenses.
I'm really happy you brought that up because I was thinking about something. You guys can tell me if I'm completely out of my mind here. Since we have our receivers back, would you like to see DeAndre Carter almost like a Deebo Samuel type of weapon where he's coming out of the backfield, catching little passes? Because I feel like with Isaiah Spiller in the game, he's going to run it, but he's also not there because he's a rookie. I think if DeAndre Carter, he got some like end around, something like that. He's our kick returner. I think that could be a little wrinkle in the offense people wouldn't want to go against.
It's like one of those where it's like the trendy thing in the NFL, so might as well try it. Like if it's working for other teams, let's do it. We already have a lot of other positions covered. I say do it. Sony Michel's cooked, man. I mean, that guy's like great player, fantastic player for the Patriots. He had an excellent career. He's on the end of it now, which is fine. Great player, great guy. I bet. But I think it's time we give DeAndre Carter a couple looks. I'm fine with him doing that. He's got speed. He runs hard. He plays hard. Might as well do it. I don't know. What do you think here, Dave, with Carter getting little end snaps?
I don't know if he has the body type. That's what always makes me a little bit nervous when you look at him. Does he have the body to take a pounding? I mean, Deebo Samuel's built a little bit different. I think there are different ways you can use Carter. Again, how many guys can you possibly cover at one time? I mean, imagine if you even have Everett, if you have a pass catch and tight end that's available. There are a lot of weapons that this Charger team has. I mean, Justin Herbert played a very good game. Of course, he ends up with that interception on the end, but that was kind of freakish. I mean, he finishes 23 of 30 for 280 yards as a passer rating of 113, a couple touchdown passes. I would like to see DeAndre Carter used more as that slot guy, if the guy that in a little misdirection, maybe you forget about it. Maybe it looks like you're going to use him, Josh, as a running back, and all of a sudden he breaks out into a pass because man, he sure as heck isn't going to pick up a blitz. He's not big enough to sit there and be a protection for Justin Herbert. At the same time, I don't even know if you can hand him the ball to take a chance of breaking him. I mean, it sounds bad to say that about a professional football player, but I mean, how big is he overall? He has to be one of the smaller guys on the field.
Yeah, no, he's not big in stature, but I think if you did the end around, not use him like Deebo, where he's getting the ball like 15 times a game, but do it a couple times, man. Stretch the defense out in a way where you have to be concerned about it. Because if he's going to go up the field, up the seam, but you're not going to throw it to him, there's no purpose to that to me. I think you just got to kind of change it up and have somebody else in the flat besides Austin Eckler. I don't think this guy can keep taking the beating that he's taking today. I think, like you said, that's why he was coming out of the game. He just didn't kind of look like himself, but you kind of understand why. Every game, he's getting the crap knocked out of him every time. let's get somebody else into the flat and make some moves. Because if they dump it down to Sony Michel or Isaiah Spiller, the chance that they're going to make somebody miss at this point is not very high. I think I'd like the chance with DeAndre Carter better because he takes the kick returns and he has a little bit more wiggle.
I could see Palmer being more of that role. I think that we're kind of mentioning with Carter just because the amount of screen passes kind of Palmer got today. That was someone that Lombardi kind of trusted going there to kind of make guys miss in space. So I could maybe see him doing that. The problem is I don't think he's, as fast as, we say Carter or Sam or anything like that. But I could see Palmer kind of fit in that role more. I did kind of like the game plan that Lombardi had today. I thought he had a pretty strong game plan. A lot of snaps on our center for Herbert. We established the run pretty well. We were able to make it into play action. We were able to get guys deep. I actually thought of all the games, I wasn't like – sometimes I come on here, I'm like, dude, I don't even know what – like, did you ever even play Madden? But, like, today I'm actually – today I actually, like, I want to say, like, I think Lombardi called a great game. I think the game plan was good. Just sometimes you leave too much time on the clock for the other person and you simply don't have enough. I think that's kind of what happened for the story of this game.
How much more fun is that for Lombardi, though, to sit there and go, man, it's a completely different game I'm calling when I have all these weapons, where there are some games we're going into the games going, man, there's just nothing for them to work with. They just don't have anything on the outside. It's just Eckler and Herbert, and that's all you have. I mean, even your tight end is out when you're going into some of these contests. This was the closest thing to what we thought we were going to see throughout the season with all the weapons that they did have. If I were to tell you guys that Patrick Mahomes threw twice as many incomplete passes as Justin Herbert, would you believe it? You'd say, no way. I just watched Patrick Mahomes kill this team. Well, he did. He threw twice as many incomplete passes as Justin Herbert did in this game. I think the biggest stat, guys, that really, make the score what it is, and I know it's 30-27, and anyone who watched the game go, guys, it's a one-possession league. Tackles for loss. Okay. The Chargers only had 2 tackles the entire game for a loss for the Chiefs. Okay. Against the Chiefs. The Chiefs had 9 against the Chargers. I mean, that's a big stat right there that you're sitting there going, man, we aren't picking up our assignments, or our offensive line isn't doing a good enough job. And we saw it break down over and over again going, into this game. A word about Chris Jones. Well, Chris Jones has been double teamed, and he came through with a huge play at the end of the game when the Chiefs needed it. But the 9 tackles for loss is a big number when you look at what the Chargers were doing. I believe the Chargers, and I wrote it down right here. I believe the Chargers in the third quarter alone, and we talk about Andy Reid and how smart of a coach he is, that Andy Reid's going to make adjustments at halftime. And one of the things we criticize the Chargers for is whatever happens at halftime, we don't do a good job with adjustments. The Chargers in the third quarter only ran 8 plays. Yeah. And you're going, wow, man, how does that happen? And you start panicking. Remember, they ended up with 0 points tonight. Well, they ended up with 0 points the entire second half against the 49ers last Sunday. And then today they start off with only 8 plays in the third quarter and don't score anything. And you're sitting there shaking your head going, oh my gosh, are they about to do the same damn thing? So combined in the last 2 second halves for the Chargers against the Chiefs and the 49ers, they have 7 points. That's it.
Wow. Yeah, it's hard to win when you do that. Coming out of halftime, I was pretty happy. Obviously we're up by 7 points, but then I thought if the Chiefs actually run the ball here, we're going to be in trouble, and they did. Coming out of the third quarter, they started handing the ball off to Isaiah Pacheco a bunch of times. He was getting like 8 yards to carry at least.
Was this his coming out party, Josh? Was this his coming out party?
I think so. Clyde Edwards-Helaire got hurt, but he also hasn't been impressive all season. I think it's clear that Pacheco's the better running back. Obviously, Jerick McKinnon's the passing running back. I don't know, man. I feel like the Chargers' third quarter this whole season's been pretty weak, which is concerning. Also, it has to do with you don't know who the hell's going to be in there in the third quarter. The guys you start the game with are usually never the guys that are in the third quarter. So that's tough, man. I thought the Chargers' offensive line struggled. It seemed like the Chiefs were tricking us all game, or we just weren't good enough to block them. Like Justin Herbert, I thought was amazing for the amount of time he had to throw. He got hit, 10 quarterback hits. He only had 7 incomplete passes. The interception at the end was the only turnover he had. I thought Justin Herbert did everything he could to win the game, and I couldn't have asked anything more out of our quarterback.
I have a problem with the third quarter when we're like knowing the situation. We get the ball. We're up 20-13 at half. We have the best quarterback in the league on the other side. Why not have your best set of plays coming out literally going into that third quarter? If we get a quick touchdown or just a good long hard drive, God, that gets you a lot of momentum, and that gives you a lot of breathing room. As soon as I saw that, it was, I think, only 4 plays or 5 plays on our first drive. I know we got a quick first down, and then we ended up punting the ball. But as soon as that happened, I'm like, that just took a lot of wind, and it gave the Chiefs a little breathing room, let them take kind of deep breath and go, okay, now let's go get our offense possession in. Let's establish the run. Let's see what holes we can find in this Chargers defense, and they did. The fact that we only had 8 plays against Patrick Mahomes is horrifying. You cannot do that against Patrick Mahomes. You can maybe do that to Zach Wilson. Sure, you can do that to every quarter to Zach Wilson because he still sucks, but you can't do that to the best quarterback in the NFL, arguably the best player in the NFL. You just simply can't do that. And as soon as we did that, I'm like, we're playing from behind. Even though we're playing from behind, we're not setting ourselves up for a very successful situation right now.
The whole point of getting that kickoff, right, of having we're going to defer to the second half, is to come out and punch you right in the mouth. All right, that possession all the time. What's the last thing they say in every broadcast going to the commercial break at halftime? Don't forget, Chargers have the ball coming out of the half. I mean, it's a big damn deal. Well, you did nothing with it. I mean, it's like in the first quarter, you always hear the first 15 plays are scripted. You're absolutely right. I don't know what happens at halftime and why the Chargers seem to fumble this away, so to speak. They screw it up and there's nothing there. And you wonder, aren't you ready to go? This is your chance with a 7-point lead to sit there and add to it and make it a 2-score game at least. And you couldn't. You were absolutely terrible in third quarter. Once again, it's something that they've seen. I don't know what it takes to shake this team up. I mean, you look at Brandon Staley's record. He's a 500 coach right now. And you hope that as guys get healthier, and I don't know if we can rely on Mike Williams to make a comeback. I mean, he might have, basically re-injured this leg to go, okay, I don't know what happens. Is he available to play the following week? And next week they'll face the Cardinals, and then they're at the Raiders. I think if Keenan Allen comes back on Monday and he does his interviews and everything, and he gets his treatment, and Keenan Allen says, you know what, I played a full game and it held up. I think the Chargers are in pretty good shape. I think having Keenan Allen, as we said right at the beginning, is so important to this team and what they're going to be going forward.
Yeah, with him on the field, like I said earlier, makes a huge difference. If you're the Chiefs, though, you're saying, well, we're missing McCole Hardman, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Kadarius Toney, and we won the game. So what's your guys' excuse? I think it just comes down to finishing the game when it matters. I know, Mario, you said that you like Joe Lombardi's play calling, and I did for most of the game. But running a quarterback draw at the end of the game with like less than a minute left, or how much we had, like 30 seconds left. It's like, dude, what planet are you living on, bro? Like, why would you consider doing a quarterback draw when you need to go like 75 yards?
31 seconds left. 31 seconds.
It drives me nuts, dude. Like, that's those little things right there. Like, Patrick Mahomes isn't doing a freaking quarterback draw if he's in that situation. Why the hell are we?
Yeah.
It just kind of drives me crazy. I don't know. I want to see the Chargers at full strength if that ever happens. I want to see Gerald Everett out there with Mike Williams and DeAndre Carter and Josh Palmer and Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler, because I will still take that offense over any team in the league, dude. You can't tell me that offense will ever be out of a game.
Are we going to go to negatives now? Because I know you're going a little negative, and I have a big negative that pissed me off.
Go ahead, let's hear it.
Yeah.
Okay. Try to be the guy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Second drive in the second half, we're 4th and inches on our own 35. Now, I know it's like risky to go for it, but all game, all we've seen is when it's 3rd and short, 2nd and short, or whatever, all we've seen is Herbert goes to the line and he has a check to hand it off or a check to just take the QB sneak and get it. So obviously that is practice, that is planned. We have checks into it. We have a whole thing for it. But yet, on 4th and inches, we do not go for it. When our offense has been killing them in the first half, when we have our everything we need now, we got it. We have our wideout we need to go to. We have our QB playing well that we always wanted, and we don't go for it in a must-win game. I know Mahomes on the other side. That really pissed me off. You have a plan. We have a plan. You've shown it the whole time, and that the Chiefs have not been able to stop it. We always got the first down. I could get meaner. I could get explicit. I'm not going to because, family safe. Staley, I thought I coached a good game. But the 4th and inches pissed me off.
Dave, what do you think? I'll go after you.
I know he's trying not to swear. That's why I'm laughing my head off right now. I know he's trying not to swear. I'm usually not a big fan of Staley doing the fourth downs. I agree with Mario on this one. When you look at, and I understand you have the lead, but I'm a big believer in punch him in the mouth. If somebody is going down, hit him again. And this was an opportunity where Josh, you pointed it out, and you and I talked about it as the game was going on. That to me was the most that Justin Herbert had taken snaps under center. And eventually I said to Josh, I said, boy, you know what? Every time he takes a snap under center, they're straight up running the ball. Well, they changed up after all of a sudden they were passing the ball after him being under center. So it was kind of like a baseball pitcher where every pitch looks the same and then until it comes out of their hand. I thought the Chargers had it set up perfect. You didn't know if they were going to run or they were going to pass. And yeah, fourth and inches should tell you you're going to run. Fine. If you're going to run, that's okay. You know what the difference is? You know the snap count. The other team doesn't know the snap count. You know what direction you're going. The other team doesn't know what direction you're going. You should be able to get it on fourth and inches. To me, every single time. I don't care what level of football it is. Your offensive lineman and you knowing the advantage of the snap count, knowing what direction you're going, whether it's straight up to the left, to the right, whatever it is, you should be able to take advantage of it. I'm sorry, the Philadelphia Eagles did it today against the Colts to win the game. To me, that would have been an opportunity where I said, I'm 100% in. Let's just go for it. This is what we're about. We aren't playing not to lose. We're playing to win, and we're going for it right here.
So that situation right there, it was 1:37 left in the second quarter, I believe, when that happened. So this is what happens after that. Third quarter, I believe.
Third quarter.
Third quarter.
So this is why I agree with both of you guys in this situation. Patrick Mahomes is on the other side. Do you guys know what happened after we punted the ball?
They scored.
They scored. You know why? Because it's Patrick Mahomes. It was a second touchdown to Travis Kelce. It was a 10-play drive, shoved it right up our butts. That's going to happen anyway if you miss it on 4th and 1. They're already going to end up on, what were we on, our own 35? Something like that? They're already going to end up there. I made a comment to Dave earlier in the game when the Chiefs got their second field goal. It looked like their drive was terrible. They looked like they didn't know where they were at. They still end up with 3 points because it's the Chiefs. They're always going to be on that side of the field. So if you're in those types of situations, you got to go for it. It also sends a message to your team that we're not scared. Let's. I trust you guys. We got Corey Linsley in there. Let's run it right behind him. Why not, dude? If you don't get it, then they're going to end up in the same situation anyway. We'll actually get the ball back faster.
Yeah. I completely agree. You're going to get the ball back faster, and you might as well punch him back in the mouth because you've had success already.
Exactly.
So we talked about this earlier in the year because last year Brandon Staley was known for this, right? This is exactly how the Chargers lost to the Chiefs a year ago. We went through it on 4th down like crazy, like you didn't have a punter. And again, Josh and I were at this game. The people around us were losing their minds. They loved it. Everybody sitting there high-fiving each other. Hey, he's going for it. Yay. But then we got in the car and we're like, Brandon Staley cost the Chargers this game today. The game should have never gone to overtime. They should have never had Travis Kelce score the game-winning touchdown untouched. If he would have not gone for it every single time on 4th down, the Chargers win that game. And guess what? By winning that game, the Chargers make the playoffs. The Chargers didn't make the playoffs last year. But this is one of those where I'm thinking he definitely should have gone with it. And all three of us just said the same thing. We're all in favor of it. There's not one of us that disagree with it. We're all for smart football and for the right time to do it. I do believe Tom Telesco, somebody told Brandon Staley during the offseason, dude, you're killing us with this going forward on 4th down. And I think in his mind, hey, I've been warned about this before. If I want to keep my job, I can't do crazy stuff. To me, this wasn't a crazy thing. This is one where the odds were going to be in your favor to go for it. And even if you failed, because I said, I've been there in that stadium. Josh has been there in that stadium. The fans aren't going to turn on you. You don't have to worry about that. Do you think you can call the right play to get the first down in that situation? And in that short a span, it wasn't like you're going for it on 4th and 4. You're going for it on 4th and inches. Just go for it. Just go for it.
Just go for it. You got a giant quarterback that's going to move, dude. It's not like he's Kyler Murray behind there. He just fall over, for God's sakes, man. Try to see if we can get it.
Like, Tom Brady did it all the time, and he's not athletic at all, but he used to do it all the time.
We're faster than Brady.
Yeah, dude, there's no 4th down plays in the game where either team went for it, but I would have liked to see the Chargers do in that situation. When you watch a team like the Steelers when they're actually good, or the Ravens with Jim Harbaugh, dude, they are always going for it in these big games because it sends a message to your team, like I said earlier. And you want to see if your team has it. Like, let's try it now against the Chiefs. If you're going to ever do it right now against the Chiefs with everybody watching. Put your nuts on the table, as Dave always says.
That's always what I say.
Yeah, he never says that. But just fall forward. Like, as a fan, I know it's such the dumb thing to say, but seriously, man, you have Justin Herbert back there. Let's just see if he can get it.
I'm all for
Yeah.
it, dude. It could have been 4th and 3. I could have been for it. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of with you.
Yeah.
But Mario's so sad right now. I feel so bad. I feel
Yeah.
so bad, man. This is how we were talking trash before the game to the Chiefs broadcasters. We're saying this is it, right? As soon as we found out Mike Williams and Keenan Allen were playing, didn't we all feel good? Didn't all three of us go,
Yeah.
this is our night? Tonight's the
Yeah.
night.
Felt
It's going to
really
be
good.
different.
I
And we
still
had
think we
it.
would have won if we had Mike Williams, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I picked him to be the player of the game. He was my pick. God dang it, man. I almost cussed right there. You know, I mean, I picked him to be the player of the game. I thought Mike Williams was going to be the guy. I give him credit for even coming back. I mean, it's November 20th. I didn't expect to see Mike Williams till December. So at least I know it meant something to Mike Williams to do everything he could to get back on the field. It's extremely frustrating. 5-5, they fall to. This AFC West has been amazing on the way this division has turned out. We thought it was going to be more like what you're seeing in the AFC East, where every team has a chance of making the postseason. And this AFC West between the Raiders, the Broncos, and they're completely out of it, to the Chargers at 5-5. The Chiefs are the only team that's played up to expectations going into the year.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the playoff picture right now, and I really do like where the Chargers are at. Right now, they're the number 9, the number 9 seed, but it gets better. The Jets are right ahead of them, and I think when I watched the Jets game today, they had 2 yards in the second half, and they look like the Broncos. Look so bad. So that's who the Chargers are competing against for the playoffs. I feel pretty good. Ahead of the Jets and the 7th seed are the Bengals, who look pretty damn good today. If you guys watch them go against the Steelers, Patriots are number 6. I feel like their offense is just not good at all. I think the Chargers would actually kill them if they played each other. Bills look terrible. They've dropped to 5, even though they won today. Ravens are pretenders, man. If anybody watched that Ravens Panthers game today, you would say this Ravens team is not very good. So hopefully, the Bengals and some other teams in that division beat up on the Ravens and drop them down. But I don't know, man. I still like where the Chargers are if we can get some players back.
I don't hate what they're at. Oh, go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
No. I'm just yes. Go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
No, I don't hate where they're at, especially with the 2 games we have coming up. Got to be big wins. We got Cardinals. Cardinals very injury prone right now. We don't know where Murray's at with injury, and even if he is playing, yeah, he's an exceptional QB, but he has a lot of mistakes. We called him earlier this year as one of the most overrated QBs in the NFL. Not to mention, they're the Hard Knocks team, and I give that for the sole reason of sometimes like the Hard Knocks just always kind of gets in the team's kitchen sometimes and just never really works out, and I always like to fade that. It might work out for us. And then we have the Raiders. Raiders are a disaster right now. They beat the Broncos. Congratulations. They're a disaster. Big 2 wins is huge. I think the Jets are frauds in terms of just their offense is a disaster. The Mac Jones is a disaster. Zach Wilson is a disaster. Ravens are frauds. If just Chargers can stay consistent in the spot that they're in, we could get there. Just it helps to know. Helps to know that the team we lost to twice is probably the Super Bowl favorite right now. So that is a good feeling.
Let me ask you guys, 7 games remaining on the schedule right now, right? And I know I always like to play this game because we feel different at different times how things are going. 7 games. You guys tell me what you think their final record ends up with, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They play at Arizona next week. Win?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At
They're
the
banged
Raiders.
up. Win.
And win. I agree. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. Host the Dolphins.
I'm a win. I really do. I really have confidence in that game.
Loss.
Okay, I'm going coin flip on that one. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
that's
a coin flip. I think they end up 2-1 in some way out of those 3 games, though.
Okay. Titans the following week.
Where's it at?
It's in Los Angeles.
I'll go win.
I'm gonna go loss, and I'm gonna be so confused I'm gonna be so confused how we lost, but it's gonna be a loss.
And the reason I say that is the Titans to me are the most undervalued team in the NFL. I mean, they almost knocked off Kansas City, and remember they didn't have Tannehill, and they almost knocked off KC. They got off to 0-2 start, and they won all but 1 game. In the game they didn't win was the one at KC with their backup quarterback, but we're leading that entire game, including by 8 with 4 minutes remaining in that game. I think the Titans are that team nobody wants to play. The game I'm curious about is the Colts the following week, because we talked about this before, but you're going against 2 teams that run the ball very well than the Titans and the Colts are supposed to. the Colts do look like a different team. I mean, with Jeff Saturday right now. Now, I don't know, Mario. The reason I bring this up is you're in Indianapolis. You're getting all the media knowledge of what's going on with the Colts on a daily basis, and this is another primetime game. Believe it or not, am I right on this one? It's a primetime game. The Colts game is the day after Christmas, and I believe it's Monday Night Football. And you're going, okay, are the Colts for real all of a sudden, or are the Colts just playing off of momentum of having a new coach? Like, what's going on with the Colts?
It's honestly, if you look at the past couple of years with the Indianapolis Colts, they've gone through these phases where we start off the year pretty slow. No one really knows what we are. And then you have this late season push. And this late season push, what?
You said we?
Dude, I'm from Indianapolis, dude. It's the Indianapolis Colts. Like,
thought we're Charger fans, dude. What the hell?
Yeah, whatever the we. I thought you hated it.
Yeah, what's the we,
What
dude?
happened?
Yeah, I thought we're on the same team.
I didn't know I was in grammar school. God.
I'm sorry. Continue.
The Indianapolis Colts has this late push every single time. And this late push, suddenly the O-line that's the most expensive in the league is there. Suddenly Jonathan Taylor is back again. Michael Pittman Jr. is this number one receiver that Dan Dockage has been screaming about. All this suddenly becomes true. And it happens every single year. So I think that's just like what this is. Jeff Saturday is a great leader. He's a great talker. He's a good inspiration. I think he gets the guys going. But at the end of the day, I think that will only take them so far. I think they'll do to us what they've done to the Eagles. And that is they're going to play us really, really, really tight. And then it's all going to come falling apart because their secondary is not very strong. We can exploit that. The QB play, I mean, dude, if you pressure Matt Ryan a little bit, that guy just, I don't even know what he does. He sacks himself fast. It's impressive. So I think that's just what it is that the Colts have this late push where they look good at all of a sudden, and in 3 quarters, they like beat you. But it's like, well, we play 4. We don't play 3. If we played 3, you guys would be incredible. So would we. But like, we played 4. And yeah, I said we, Josh, grammar teacher.
Do you own any Colts gear? Now I'm curious to know.
No, I promise you, I actually do not.
I didn't think you did.
I'll take the camera and I'll go through my whole closet right now.
This is why I think because the Colts are right behind the Chargers in the playoff picture. They're 4-6-1. Chargers are 5-5. Colts have a really hard schedule to end the season. They got the Steelers, the Cowboys, the Vikings, the Chargers, the Giants, and the Texans. The only easy one on there is the Texans. So I really like where the Chargers sit there. And the Jets are 1 game ahead of the Chargers, and they have a really tough schedule to end the season too. They have the Bears, the Vikings, the Bills, the Lions, the Jags, the Seahawks, and the Dolphins. So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna come down to the very end, like it always does.
All right, last 2 games on the schedule for the Chargers are the Rams, which is January 1st. That's a Sunday night game, which I bet you they're going to flex out of that. Don't you think the NFL is going to flex out of that game?
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, even though the broadcasters are like, I would love to be in Los Angeles in the warm weather on January 1st. I think they're going to flex out of that game, and then they finish up on the road against the Broncos. I mean, for me, guys, I have the Chargers, at 5-2 finishing out the season, which would give them a 10-7 record to finish the year.
Yeah, they go 1-1 against the Colts and the Titans. I think there's no way they go 0-2. Even though they're both the same team basically. The quarterbacks don't really throw and they run the ball down your throat. I like the Chargers against the Colts, even though it's going to be in Indianapolis. Mario's going to be at that game sideline. He's already told us he'll be there. But no, the Dolphins game is one that scares me the most because they have the weapons. Just like today, I was scared going to the game because you didn't know who was going to get it. But who knows? Travis Kelce has 3 touchdowns. Never saw that coming. Yeah, I like the Chargers' chances, man. If we can get some guys back, maybe Rashawn Slater, Joey Bosa, I really like our chances.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why I have such a good feeling about the Dolphins. And I'm gonna blame it on a very stupid theory. It's the candy ass uniforms. Like when I look at those uniforms, like you're not threatening. It's like this is just doing nothing, dude. Like, come on. Let's change it up a little bit, Just candy ass.
I'm never gonna change it up a little bit. It's the Dolphins.
I don't know, dude. It's I don't know what about it, but it's like I can never take them seriously because like these are just soft uniforms. It's like how the Warriors were for me for like a little bit, and and then I realized Steph Curry's a god. Yeah, but I think the other thing too with the Dolphins is I'm really trying to think. I think they are very similar to the Chiefs in a way where it's going to be a track meet. It's literally going to be a track meet, and we're going to have to outscore them. Like, that's obviously, but you're going to have to. You're going to have to outthrow them. Herbert's going to have to outthrow Tua. And the good part where I feel comfortable in that is that Tua's not Mahomes. Tua's a great quarterback, but Tua's not Mahomes. Herbert's better than Tua. Herbert's probably hearing all this noise that how Tua's suddenly better than him now, and people are putting him above Tua. That's going to be a storyline all week. I think Herbert's going to play into that, get a little pissed off for it. And that's also, I think, why I'm really riding on this one. And I'm standing by this. Like, I'm going to die by this. I'll do something stupid if they lose this, but I'm going to die hard right now that they are going to beat the Miami Dolphins at November 21st at 12 a.m. Eastern time in Indianapolis, Indiana. I promise you right now, they will beat the Miami Dolphins.
I got a question. Okay.
Well, hold on. It's not November 21st. Oh, you're saying, well, what the hell's November 21st? Today's the 20th. What are we talking about?
He's in Indianapolis.
At the Eastern time. I said the Eastern time. Yeah.
I'm like, wait a second. What? Okay. Look. All right. Let's stop right here where you're at right now, because I love this conversation. For me, I'm telling you right now, as just a football fan, because I love offense. Okay. It's why I fell in love with the Chargers to begin with, because their offense, when I became a fan, when they had Dan Fouts and they had Joyner and Wes Chandler and John Jefferson and Kellen Winslow, and they were the team scoring all these points when people weren't scoring points, and they were throwing the ball when other teams weren't throwing the ball. People still lined up, and you had 8 guys on the defensive line. It was ridiculous to watch how football used to be played. But the Chargers were different. They were exciting. This Dolphin-Charger game, to me, should be a primetime game. I think the NFL is blowing this thing big time. You just said it, Mario. There's a great storyline there with Justin Herbert and Tua. Drafted back-to-back. Which guy's the better quarterback? Even here in Los Angeles and in San Diego, where people love the Chargers, and they're sitting there talking, going, who would you rather have? Even though Tua's had an incredible year, media members are saying if you could ask anyone in the NFL, they're going to tell you they'd rather have Justin Herbert. People in Miami are saying, no way, Tua's possibly the MVP of the season this year, and he's been incredible, redeeming himself through not being named a captain a year ago on his own team. Only quarterback in the league not to be named a captain, yet now he has weapons and a coach that believes in him. This is the game. And the excitement factor of everything I just said, plus the idea that you have 2 franchises that have played in big games against each other in the postseason. The greatest game of all time is a Charger-Dolphin game. You know, way back before you guys were even born, was the greatest playoff game of all time, where Kellen Winslow has to be pulled off the field. Now you have 2 teams with all these offensive weapons, and the Chargers, hopefully these guys are 100% healthy. But, man, the Dolphins' weapons with the Chargers' weapons, and as Mario says, the candy-ass uniforms. I'll tell you right now, I watch these games on TV every week like you guys watch, and as dumb as this might sound, I dig the Dolphin all-white uniforms. You know why? Because I sit there and go, man, those are the whitest uniforms I've ever seen. And then when the Chargers wear their whites, I say the same thing. I love the Charger uniforms. I love this matchup. I love the quarterbacks. I love the weapons. I love to see the points. And I just want to see a shootout. I want to see a game that's in the 50s. I mean, I can't wait for this Dolphin-Charger game, and the NFL is blowing it, not making this game a primetime game. This is going to be awesome. And hopefully these 2 guys fighting against each other, not only on December 11th, but also for the remainder of their careers, because this isn't the last time they're facing it. They're going to face each other in an elimination game down the line. I can't wait. I'm so super excited about this Dolphin-Charger matchup.
The Sunday night football game that week is the Chiefs and the Broncos. I don't want to watch that crap. I watched the Broncos. Yeah, I watched the Broncos today. Is the worst crap I've ever seen in my life. There's no way in hell the NFL should go Chiefs Broncos if the Broncos are in last place and the Chiefs are in first place. Come on.
Yeah.
Dolphins Chargers has to be one of the most hyped up matchups because of what you said, Justin Herbert versus Tua. I go back and forth on who I think's better. I think Herbert obviously has more skill. He can do everything on the field, but Tua wins. So it's like, which quarterback would you rather have? The guy that gets the wins or the dude that's incredible skill-wise? I'd love to see the matchup. And the quarterbacks think about that type of thing. Even Tua, he doesn't talk. He's thinking about it because I want to destroy Herbert. So, yeah, I for sure think that should be the Sunday night football game.
If they flex that to primetime, that's 3 games left on our schedule. If the Rams one stays, that they'd be in primetime, and they're already 2 earlier this year. Well, 3 earlier this year if you count the Thursday night football game. So that's a lot of spotlight.
Here you go. The only other matchups they could possibly flex to besides that one would be the Jets at the Buffalo Bills. Okay. You could see why they would possibly do that one. And the other matchup would be Tampa Bay, San Francisco. That'd be the other one. But otherwise,
No.
well,
I mean,
I'm
they
telling you,
could. I mean, the Buccaneers have been winning since Tom Brady had his situation. That's
yeah,
true.
we'll just go.
Yeah.
Yeah, since his divorce, he's
Since
undefeated.
he's freed. Yeah.
Yeah.
man.
So you got, but think about it. It's Tom Brady against Garoppolo. It's Tom Brady going back home to San Francisco. It's the Niners. It's the Buccaneers. You could easily see that why the three games of interest that week, I'm looking at it right now, would be the Jets at the Bills, the Buccaneers at the 49ers, or the Dolphins and the Chargers. All of them are going to be important for the playoffs.
Yeah, the Chargers and play on Monday Night Football 2 weeks after the Dolphins game too, before the Sunday Night Football game. I doubt it that they put the Chargers Dolphins, but from a entertainment perspective,
Yeah,
I'm taking that game over any game that week for sure. I agree with you. I think that the score is somewhere like 40 to 40 something. Honestly,
that's Mario. He's the expert. What are you setting over under in that game, Mario?
50. I bet they go 52.
52?
I bet it starts at 50. I could see it going up to 52. I bet they open it up at 50.5. I'm gonna write that down because if I get that right,
I'm taking the over, dude.
Me too.
oh, I'm hammering the over. Hammering the over.
For sure, right?
Future way out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. There you go. Oh my gosh, man! I tell you that again, the way the schedule works out for the Chargers to end this thing, and I know heading into the season we're concerned about the Cardinals and we're concerned about the Raiders and even the Broncos, that we're really worried about the second half of the schedule. All of a sudden, there are wins on this schedule for the Chargers. They do have a chance. As I said, now they're in control of their own destiny. But Josh, you went through it with the other teams, and Mario, you said it, that the AFC East has to beat up on each other, and they're going to start eliminating each other. You're right, guys. I mean, it's not like the playoff window is closed. The Chargers have a chance of making the postseason. It's just not going to be by winning the division. You know?
And we knew this going into the season, that if the Chiefs get a couple game lead, we're going to play catch up like we always do. But I kind of like being in this position at the same time. Like, what are you made out of? The playoffs start today kind of thing? Like, every game is a playoff game. Let's see what we got.
That's true. That's true. All right, we're going to be back on Tuesday. In a couple days, we'll be back. We'll be talking about the Chargers' next game. As again, they're on the road against the Cardinals. Next two games for the Chargers are on the road, Cardinals and Raiders, before they're back home against the Dolphins. But it doesn't matter. I mean, it's not like the Chargers, home field advantage means anything to these guys. They've been disappointing at home throughout the season, so it doesn't matter. They just got to beat whoever's in front of them. And good news is when you talk about travel, it's not like they're traveling different time zones of going all the way to the East Coast. Chargers, it's an hour flight from Los Angeles to Phoenix, piece of cake. And then you get ready to play and see what happens against Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. We'll talk more about that game as we head towards Sunday next week. But again, for Mario Heron, Josh Palais, I'm Dave Palais. We'll be back in a couple days talking about the Chargers' next opponent facing those Arizona Cardinals. Thanks for joining us, Bolt City Podcast, courtesy of Odyssey.